Welcome back, faithful listeners. Today, we're diving into a topic that has been stirring quite a bit of conversation lately. Doug Weiss's Heart to Heart Counseling Center seems to be primarily focused on one thing: sex. His go-to strategy for resolving marital issues: more sex. And honestly, it often feels like this focus might be a reflection of his personal obsession with the subject. He even uses himself as an example when giving advice to the public. But instead of dwelling too much on that today, I just want you to listen carefully to what follows.
When Joni had told me those things, again shoving them down.
Told you what things?
About the text he was sending you, and you were happy, and I didn't know how to process it.
What text?
About the sexual text, what he would do to you, and I don't want to say that.
What text? We talked about
I
sex.
don't tell people. I don't tell people
we
what
talked
you read out
about
to me,
sex,
and
like
see,
two
and I
adults
won't
would.
know.
But he never sexted me. He never said anything inappropriate. We didn't have sex until
Okay,
we got
can I
married.
finish?
He is known for his integrity.
This is just sexual talk.
Okay, that's not even it. This is not even it, okay? So when she starts telling me about that, I'm keeping it to myself. I'm really starting to get stressed. Things are not sitting well. My body's starting to get really acting up. That's when my panic attacks started happening.
But I was saying, when you got the text,
When she was reading all this stuff to me. And Rachel and Beck on the other side were, like, what's going on? I'm not telling them not one word about that. Not about that. When Joni comes in the picture as the one she trusted, after that, before we all six met with Joni Evans, I called Joni privately because I didn't want to dishonor her or talk about that in front of her other children.
Here's a part of the story that caught my attention. Joni Lamb had shared some troubling information with me. She mentioned some texts Doug had been sending, which frankly were hard to process. What texts? Well, sexual texts. The kind that left Joni feeling flattered, but not in a way that I would have expected from someone in her position. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's a sensitive topic, and I'm treading carefully here. We've talked about sex before, certainly, but Joni was adamant that Doug had never crossed any inappropriate lines with her. She said they didn't have sex until after they got married, and that Doug has maintained a strong moral compass. Rodney, a key figure in this discussion, also had a disturbing vision of Daystar's downfall. He believed that Joni was under attack, and he didn't hesitate to voice his concerns. Unfortunately, his warnings were ignored, which only added to the tension within the group. But what really shook things up was a gift Rodney gave to Joni for her wedding: $100,000. Some saw it as an act of genuine care, while others raised eyebrows, wondering about his true intentions. It's just one of many instances where the Daystar circle seems to be divided, with people questioning the leadership and the direction the network is headed under Joni and Doug's influence. Through all this, Denise's letter paints a picture of a woman who feels deeply concerned for Joni. She describes how Joni's personality and behavior have changed since Doug entered her life. In her eyes, Joni seems to have fallen under a spirit of deception, particularly after she was flattered by Doug's comments that in Denise's mind were deeply degrading for a woman of God. Denise warns that giving in to flattery is a trap, one that leads to manipulation and spiritual deception. She goes on to remind us that in spiritual warfare, there are only two responses to such behavior. Either we confront it or we laugh it off and accept it. Denise has voiced her concerns about Doug from the very beginning, but Joni defended him. And now it's clear to Denise that Joni's strong convictions have started to waver. This shift, she believes, is a sign that Joni has been manipulated, and she worries that the viewers of Daystar will see through the deception and lose trust in the network. Denise's letter further emphasizes that Marcus and Joni had set a high standard for Daystar, and now if Joni follows Doug's lead, she fears the network's reputation will suffer. Denise believes that Joni is at risk of handing over leadership to someone who isn't capable of handling the responsibility, and that Doug's influence could ultimately lead to Daystar's downfall. As the letter continues, Denise reflects on her conversations with Joni about Doug's first marriage. She believes the unresolved issues from that marriage could repeat In Joni's relationship with Doug, this is a point of contention for many, as some people involved in the situation, like Jimmy Evans, seem to endorse the marriage without knowing the full history. Denise worries that Joni is being influenced by others who don't understand the deep-rooted issues at play. In the end, Denise calls for prayer for Joni, for Daystar, and for the people involved. She hopes that those closest to Joni will set aside past hurts and come together to confront the truth. She even offers to meet with them to help bring clarity and understanding. This situation is far from simple. It's complex and emotions are running high. But as we continue to unpack these concerns, one thing remains clear: trust, integrity, and accountability matter. The public, especially Daystar's viewers, are watching closely, and they will make their own judgments about what's happening behind the scenes. As we move forward, we'll keep you updated on this unfolding situation. Thanks for tuning in and staying engaged. Your thoughts and prayers are always appreciated.